I came to you for help, and you tried to have me killed.
Look, I just needed information, because I can't allow anyone to know what we're doing here.
Nobody knows. Mrs. Griffin, look, I understand you're just trying to protect your daughter. I get that. Because I'm trying to save the one person left in my life that matters to me.
All right. What if you can tell him that you're holding sanitizer in the thumbnail? My glasses were foggy.
I didn't notice that.
I go into every store now with my glasses foggy, looking like I'm the nerdy guy in every Skinamax movie. Or girl comes in with a bikini. God.
You know how to fix that? It's actually because your mask isn't like closed up at the top.
Yes, but I do that, but it does fog up because of the hot checkout girl. So, all right, Songbird is the why is this called Songbird? I mean,
Good question.
Alexandra Daddario is a singer in it. I don't know. Everything about this movie's pretentious. So, the title might as well be. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not completely sold on the fact that there should be a coronavirus version of Paul Haggis's Crash. Which is pretty much what this movie is.
Huh.
Michael Bay's one of the producers on here, because Platinum Dunes is one of the many companies attached to this, but he's not the writer or director or anything like that. It's just it's a Platinum Dunes movie where it takes place 4 years in the future in 2024, where it's now COVID-23.
Yeah.
Which I guess means we change the name of it every year, I guess.
Yeah. according to this movie, you know, like every year it gets a new one.
And this movie, when I first heard that this movie was coming out and I saw like a brief synopsis of it, my first thought was like, oh, well, okay, this was probably made a year ago and it's just like a coincidence. It has to do with the pandemic. No, this was conceived, produced, written, and directed this year from March to like August, I think, or something like that. I will say this. Could have been worse in terms of that production schedule. In fact, I've seen a few coronavirus movies. This one is probably the best of the coronavirus movies I've seen.
I didn't even know there were other coronavirus movies.
There is. There was God. Corona that was all in an elevator.
God.
And I think I'm forgetting one. There's a few. And then we have this one where if there is such a thing as as one of these movies that would be the closest to being Oscar bait, it would be this one over the elevator one. It's an ensemble movie with a lot of different storylines going on. There's the wealthy couple who's Demi Moore and Bradley Whitford that are selling like black market immunity tags. And also put together black market parties and things like that. There's the courier dude who's delivering your packages. Alexandra Daddario, who's like the singing influencer. Few other things happening in the movie. Yeah, man. I don't know. What did you think of this film?
I'll at least give it. I'll give it ambition nod. You know, I see what they were. I see what they were trying to do. I see what. I like the idea that they're like, oh man, this coronavirus thing. This is going to be a big thing. We need to make a movie about coronavirus, and we need to make it now, right?
Set 4 years in the future, which is a very confusing future.
Right.
Because while some is in around LA that this is taking place, because of course it is. And so it's taking place in and around LA, where it simultaneously looks like The Walking Dead.
Right.
With like the empty highways and moss all over the streets and signs.
Like the movie starts with an empty 405.
Yeah.
Literally.
That looks like post-apocalyptic. Random fires going off. But yet, technology is still evolving.
Yeah.
Like,
we still got internet.
But even evolved from where it is now. So it's like, we're simultaneously going towards a Mad Max future and a Blade Runner future. This is a very confusing virus in this near future 2024 Los Angeles.
So I'll give it the ambition nod, but because of what we just pointed out, it obviously cannot execute this ambition very well.
Because they needed to work on this film a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I get it's a movie that was put together very, very fast. And in terms of how quickly this thing was assembled, like I said, this movie's not very good. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I'm going to say what I said in the prom, which is I did just watch BOBBLEHEADS last night.
You are that desensitized. You are
I really am. Because BOBBLEHEADS was so bad and was in development for like 35 years. This movie seems like it was in development for 5 seconds.
Oh.
And...
Wait, was it really?
Yeah, like, there were talks of the BOBBLEHEADS movie, like, dating back to the 80s. Meanwhile, this movie, I don't know, they probably started making it during the last review we shot 2 hours ago. And it's a better movie than the one I watched last night. My problem with this movie, honestly, is, like, it should be... This is a very, very, very dumb movie, don't get me wrong, but it should be more so intentionally going towards that angle as opposed to trying to be this deep, provocative, smart movie. Like, movie, you shouldn't be doing this. Like, no, don't try to be like Crash or something like that. It needs to be more like The Purge. Like, it needs to be about coronavirus the same way, like, Split Second is about global warming. Don't try to be this philosophical Oscar ensemble kind of thing.
Yeah.
No, be 1990 The Bronx Warriors. Now, because there's seeds there that they could run with it. Because I'm not going to lie, when it got to about the second half of this movie, I really wasn't bored. Like, when it got to the first half a little, second half, when it became this about he has to race to get his love interest, the courier has to race to get his love interest, the tag that says that she's immune before she and her family are taken away, while being hunted down by Psycho Peter Stormare, who is the head of the Corona Gestapo, this extermination unit going from building to building, assassinating people. Yeah. Like, again, like they're a virus version of the Gestapo. And so I'm like, all right, like, this movie should really run with this angle, like, all the way through, because it'd be far more entertaining. And then it briefly becomes this stalker thriller with Bradley Whitford having an affair on Demi Moore with Alexandra Daddario and starts chasing after her. And I'm not going to spoil this, but there's this amazing thing that happens with a drone.
A CGI drone.
Yeah. That kind of takes care of that a little bit. So when it's trying to be deep and meaningful, it's dumb, man.
Right.
Like...
Do you think that failure is what made it feel less provocative and more conspiracy theory fueled?
I don't know about that, because I'm like, I don't know how else you would do a movie like this without it being, again, 4 years in the future, and there's Peter Stormare Gestapo storming through everything, like, because that's just what it's an action thriller, like, so I don't know what other angle they'd kind of go from that, other than what I'm saying is to just make it even more over the top.
Yeah.
Because when it's at the end and the courier is like, I've been delivering hope for people. I'm like, movie, you do not want to remind me of Kevin Costner's The Postman right now. Could you not? Like, although I will say, like, at least this movie's only 85 minutes and The Postman was 18 hours long.
Jeez.
Not literally, but like, and the way that it's resolved with him trying to get this ID to his love interest is ridiculous. And again, it'd be one thing if it knew how ridiculous this is, No, it's trying to paint it as this tearful, happy moment, dramatic moment at the end with slow motion and everything. Like, this is ridiculous. How this happened? No way, dude. This, no, not buying it.
Are we really saving them from spoiling much?
Yeah, I don't want to get into like a spoiler talk on this movie. I'll just say that the way that this comes together at the end, it only works out if every person in the scene is blind.
Agreed. It only makes sense if everyone involved was blind. Agreed.
Now, this movie is getting just shit on left and right.
Oh yeah.
By critics and audiences alike. They've come together to hold hands on the critic and audience score. There's been unity right there for this. And I'm not saying that it is undeserved, but because I'm like, yeah, I see why people don't like this movie. I completely 100% do. But what I'll say, because I'm not giving it a positive review really, but I didn't hate the movie. There's no way this is going to make my bottom 10 by the end of the year.
I think I'm with you, and I didn't see Bobblehead, but I also wasn't like pissed at this movie.
No, neither was I.
I was just whatever.
Yeah, I wasn't
just
pissed
a whole
at the
lot
movie.
of nothing.
And again, like I said, I've seen worse coronavirus movies this year. Oh, Corona Zombies, that was one that I saw.
Oh God,
it was 10% a movie. The other 90% was they dubbed over Hell of the Living Dead.
So wait, this was better than the idea of coronavirus turning people into zombies?
You didn't see Corona Zombies.
Damn.
Corona Zombies was, like I said, it's more so just kind of a sketch, really, kind of, like, because it's just dubbed over another movie. They took Bruno Mattei's Hell of the Living Dead and dubbed over it.
Oh, no shit.
With, like, 10% new footage thrown in there. Just made me want to watch Hell of the Living Dead. That movie's awesome. Where do you fall on, like, a grade for this?
If I gave
Prom a D+.
D+.
Yeah.
I should probably give this one also a D+.
They're practically the same.
Yeah, I mean they were both just completely unforgettable.
They were unforgettable. D+.
Completely forgettable, I mean.
This movie's
unforgettable.
This movie's a masterpiece. Really? Yeah, it sucked.
See that this movie is that confusing.
Yeah. I'll give it a C+.
Really?
Because I wasn't bored by a lot of it. When a lot of it was set into motion, I got a couple of laughs. Some of it not seemingly intentional, others I think so. And I could see seeds in there of a better, more far out there movie.
Yeah.
And the acting's not bad.
And I guess not.
And to put this all together in as quick as it did, I didn't even think the movie looked bad. Like, I didn't think it was poorly edited or anything like that.
Damn it! Now you're making me.
Oh no, you're
reconsider.
already set.
Oh.
You already turned the key.
Oh, fine. Well, okay. So I will say this. I know you had mentioned that that Michael Bay is the producer, and I've always maintained that Michael Bay has one good thing about him. He is an amazing cinematographer, and I think that I felt like maybe he did have some influence behind the camera.
I mean, it looks like a Platinum Dunes movie.
Yeah.
It looks, honestly, like visually speaking, it doesn't look that much different than how a Purge movie is shot. It's just not as over the top as one of those films.
Yeah.
No, Michael Bay's hit or miss with me. There's Michael Bay movies that I really like a lot.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that he's a good writer or a director, but he is a good cinematographer.
I don't think he's a bad director. I think he's, when Michael Bay is, there are Michael Bay movies that I love, and they're the ones where he is really, really, really off the leash.
True.
Like, Pain and Gain or the Bad Boys movies, or
True. I mean, those
Rock.
are damn good movies.
Yeah, the Rock, movies like that where he's like going for the R rating and everything. And Pain and Gain, I thought was a very smart, clever movie. When he's more doing one of his like toyetic movies or something like that, then I'm kind of like, when he's like body swapped with a 13-year-old behind the camera and we're doing these movies, all right. No, so he's hit or miss for me, but there's movies of his that I do like a lot. This is, I didn't hate this. I wouldn't even say it's terrible by any means. This is middle of the road for me, really.
Yeah. Very forgettable.
It is. Which is unfortunate considering what the rental cost of this movie is.
Damn.
God. It's like this movie, with the rental cost of this movie, holy crap, man. It's like this movie is being put out there by the characters Bradley Whitford and Demi Moore played in the film. Like, selling this at a high price on the black market to watch this 85-minute, relatively forgettable movie.
Cashing in on coronavirus, cashing in on the quarantine. The Q zone. Yeah. We're all in the Q zone.
Are we? Crap. That means there's going to be moss growing from all of our street signs soon, and tumbleweeds going across the street. I'm not sure what's out this weekend. I think Greenland might be coming out, the Gerard Butler, another end of the world movie. I think that one might be hitting VOD.
Although, here's hoping that one is a lot better than this. This was God. That's the thing. In these end of the world post-apocalyptic movies, you want something that's like thrilling or you know, like you said, provocative or something. This was
entertaining, at least.
This was 22 After.
Oh, that one you were in? Yeah, I forget what video is we talk about that in, but we do in one of the midnight screenings. The post-apocalyptic movie you were in, 22 After. You're on IMDb for it now.
Yeah, somebody credited me as the Messiah.
That's funny. I'm sure if you look at the movie on IMDb and look at connections under it, it probably mentions what review we talked about it in. All right. Well, that was Songbird. Still don't really know what that means.
I know, right? Here's the thing. Until you said something at the beginning of this review, I was like, oh, that was the movie. That was the name of this movie, wasn't it? You're right. What did that have to do with anything?
I'm sure it's something. It's probably just some term I've never really heard before or something. I know, at least with Corona Zombies, I know what that title means.
Right.
It means there are Corona Zombies.
Yeah, exactly. Self-explanatory. Songbird, not so much.
All right. Well, we'll be back this weekend with a few other new movies. Until then, see you next time.